Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly is opening up about what she describes as her scary year of Trump. In her new book, Settle for More, Kelly describes how Mr. Trump and his campaign unleashed a series of personal attacks. On Twitter, he called Kelly a lightweight, overrated, dopey, and crazy. There were others, too. She writes that his attacks and those of his followers made her, quote, fearful at times for my safety and that of my family.
Megyn Kelly also details the unwanted sexual advances she allegedly endured from her boss, former Fox News chairman and CEO Roger Ailes. He stepped down in July amid a widespread harassment scandal. Megyn Kelly's here. Good morning.
Hi, great to be here.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hi. We reached out, obviously, to the Trump campaign for a response and didn't get in. And you have a lot of information here about Donald Trump. And you compare his behavior to bullying, the same kind that you endured when you were in the 7th grade.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the book, Settle for More, includes some chapters on my experience with Donald Trump and my experience at Fox News over the summer and when I first started there. But in essence, at its core, it's really an uplifting message about getting to where you want to be, how to improve your life. And I think it's something that's more inspirational than it is, you know, gossipy, if you will. But as far as the Trump situation, yes, I thought it was important to document as a historical record what it was like to be on the receiving end of that behavior. And the reason, among others, is that as a First Amendment issue, what Donald Trump did to me has real implications. I mean, I have a powerful microphone and a powerful platform at Fox News, and I had a company that had my back. However, not every journalist has that, and not every journalist is quite as established as I am at this point in my career. And so if a President Trump were to come after a journalist the way the candidate Trump came after me, I think it could be potentially dangerous. And I think hopefully the book will provide somewhat of a roadmap for said reporters on how potentially to handle him.
We've all heard the tweets, and they were actually, as we all know, very nasty and very negative towards you. But I wonder if people realize what you went through. You and your family had to take an armed guard to Disney World. You have a young daughter who says, I'm afraid of Donald Trump because if he's mad at you, then that means he's mad at me. She was asking, what does bimbo mean? Tell us, Megyn, what it did to you and the family personally.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a delightful year.
I know.
Many people thought it was because they saw me on the cover of some magazines and said, oh, yeah. And it
people
wasn't
said
something...
it advanced your career.
Well, it certainly increased my name recognition in some quarters, but I would submit to you I was doing just fine before Donald Trump.
Okay.
But that's fine. You know, yes, it was full of darkness in many ways, Gail, and it was a personal struggle. But, and because of the bullying I had endured for an entire year in the 7th grade, which I go through in the book, and a lot of parents and kids can relate to that, and other adversity I'd had in my life, I was able to deal with it. You know, it wasn't enjoyable, but this is one of the core messages of the book, which is adversity is an opportunity. And when you take a look at people who you admire, who have accomplished amazing things, you're Oprah, right? President Obama, President George W. Bush, they seem to be operating on a higher plane at times. They seem to have a knowledge that many others don't have. How did they get it? They had big challenges. They had bigger issues, and they exposed themselves to greater things. And I think to that extent, you can almost welcome adversity as a chance to grow and hopefully get yourself to that higher level.
How do you intend to navigate your relationship with him now that he is president-elect?
Well,
Are you worried about that?
I think we're in a better place. And I actually feel good about where I am with now President-elect Trump. After that meeting we had at Trump Tower.
Where he hugged you.
He hugged me hello, which was, to me, that felt like not, I'm sorry, but let's move on. And this is a picture from his office. And I was glad that he was able to let it go. I mean, that was the point of me being there, was just to say to him, because we had always had a good relationship, just to say basically, not explicitly, but the suggestion was, let's move on from this.
Yeah, stop it.
I don't belong on the playing field with you. I belong over here on the sidelines. And to his credit, he was able to move on, even though he had held on to his anger for 9 months. He did prove that he's able to do that, and ever since, he and I have had a fine relationship. You know, we're not tight friends, but he's treated me respectfully, and he's withstood my coverage, which has been skeptical of him at times, without complaint, and that's fine.
You detail the harassment you received from Roger Ailes, your boss, the chairman of Fox. That started in 2006?
Right. No, it started in August of 2005.
Did it continue after that? Or was it just that short period of time?
So after I brought the matter to a supervisor and was told, this is a good man, he's probably just smitten, there was a vouching for Roger's character, and the suggestion was just avoid him, which I hadn't realized was an option, right? I mean, this is the chairman of the company who was calling me up to meet with him in New York. I was in the D.C. bureau. So I did that. I avoided him, and he left me alone after that, Nora. It was that summer, or that spring into summer, I developed a very bad stalking problem. And on that matter, he was very supportive of me and had my back, and that's detailed in the book as well.
You do kind of write in the book that had you said something or done something more, you might have saved other women from experiencing that same harassment.
Well, let me make this clear. What I did when it happened to me was contacted a lawyer, just in case he retaliated against me for not doing anything with him. It's all well documented contemporaneously. I reached out to other women to see whether this was a serial issue or it was just an issue with me. I found no evidence that it was a serial issue at the time. And then I did bring it to a supervisor. Now, as a lawyer, I can tell you that when that happens, a supervisor has an obligation to bring it to the company and deal with it. And the company could be exposed as a legal matter if that doesn't happen.
This was the bureau chief in Washington, or?
I haven't identified the person because I'm not looking to get this person in trouble. I believe at the time they tried to advise me to the best of their abilities. And I think this person, too, understood his power. I mean, Roger was like a king at Fox News. This was not somebody you would take on lightly. I'd been at the company for 12 months. But take my situation out of it, right? I mean, I had been a lawyer, so I knew how to handle it. But I think most women who this happens to have no clue what to do. They're just scared. And like me, they just wanted to stop. I didn't want to put my career on the line.
And you had only been there 12 months.
12 months.
Megyn,
And I didn't have any of the power I have now.
No, you write in the book, you built your own power, and when the allegations against Roger hit, you used it. I'm wondering what your relationship is like with your fellow colleagues, because Bill O'Reilly was here yesterday. I don't know if you've heard. And your name came up about the book, and this is what he had to say yesterday.
But I want to be very candid here. I'm not
Yes.
that interested in this.
No?
No, I mean, it's
sexual
over for-
harassment? You're not interested in sexual harassment?
I'm not interested in basically litigating something that is finished that makes my network look bad, okay? I'm not interested in making my network look bad at all. That doesn't interest me one bit.
Is that what she's doing?
And then last night he seemed to say if a woman, if you have a problem, go to human resources or leave the company.
Well, I'll say this. I am very proud of the fact that I discussed this with Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch before I wrote this chapter in my book. And we were all on the same page that this was an important chapter to include. And I am proud of them that they feel as I do, which is sunlight is the best disinfectant.
So you don't believe you're making the company look bad, as Bill O'Reilly alleged?
I believe that Roger Ailes made the company look bad. And I think, you know, my heart is with other women out there. And trust me, this doesn't just happen at Fox News. And, you know, we got rid of ours. But there are men, trust me, out there right now who are doing this to other women. And other women who are watching this right now who are scared and don't know what to do. Because they know very well, like I did in the moment, that if you speak up, the reality is, you can talk loftily all you want about, you know, taking a stand. The reality is you're going to get labeled as a troublemaker. That's still the world in which we live, Nora. Hopefully less so today than back when it happened to me. But they don't know what to do. I don't have all the answers. You know, I'm trying to shine a light on this and put other companies on notice that we're watching you. But I would say to young women to whom this is happening now, if it were me now, I would at least seek out, in particular, a woman of power in my company who I felt could advise me well or could go to bat for me.
All right, Megyn, and you plan to leave Fox when?
Oh, stop. Gail.
Thank you. Thank you, Megyn. Thank you. We're really glad to have you at the
Thank you,
table.
love.
Thank you so much.